Hi, my name is Melina Forbes. I'm an MSW candidate at the University of Washington, Tacoma, specifically studying child public welfare in the Child Welfare Training and Advancement Program. I began this program in 2017, and I was eager to pursue a career that I was passionate about, one that was defined by relationships and resource empowerment. In the application essay that I wrote in 2017, I explored the importance of the concept of one caring adult, which has been used to discuss the positive impact that relationships have on resiliency and success in youth with experiences of trauma. As a child whose parents were impacted by mental illness, substance use, and domestic violence, I attribute much of my success to my support system. My grandparents, mom, sister, husband, husband's family, colleagues, close friends, mentors have all carried me to this point in my life, and I am excited to promote a project that will hopefully amplify the social support networks of others. So, after my 4 years in this program, which has included the birth of my son and hundreds of hours studying the effects of the public child welfare system on families, I circle back to my original interest in the power of relationships, which for the purposes of this project, I'll refer to as social capital. Um, Based on my interview and presentation experiences with stakeholders, parent allies who are folks who have navigated the public child welfare system, first generation college students, former foster youth, and those who work closely with these populations, it is clear that relationships are key to success, and that skill support that comes from folks who aren't paid to help is really powerful. So, studying public child welfare has essentially academically supported what I have experienced, which is that relationships are not only essential, but also that systems can be great facilitators or inhibitors of them. So, I'd like to now move into an exploration of the way that social capital is impacted by circumstances of poverty. Um, this is of particular interest to me as a future public child welfare worker because statistically, families who struggle with resource insecurity also have they're also at increased risk of being reported for the abuse and neglect of their children. Also, they're more likely to have their children placed in foster care rather than with relatives or friends, which increases generational trauma in this population. The term parenting through poverty can be used to illustrate the ways that social support available to children can be impacted when resources are stretched thin. So, low income parents statistically experience decreased autonomy, fewer benefits, limited advancement opportunities, and often work unpredictable schedules that demand significant amounts of time and energy at the expense of time for themselves and for their children. And these families are more likely to experience neighborhood violence, and children statistically attend poorly funded school districts in which staff are struggling to meet the emotional and relational needs of the population that they serve. So, now the bulk of programs that focus on families living in poverty primarily attend to bolstering food security and provide extremely limited financial resources for short amounts of time, despite the fact that evidence of positive impacts on families who struggle with poverty is really linked to sustained resource access and social capital. So, research highlights the need for interventions that bolster access to community support in conjunction with the programs that focus on nutrition, housing, and medical support. So, social connections for all class levels impact experiences of well being. One strategy for increasing well being in marginalized communities is to bolster social capital, which is academically defined as the connections that occur on interpersonal, community, institutional, and organizational levels within society. So, social capital relates to reciprocity and trust, and when leveraged, has the potential to increase access and power on all levels of society. So, as I researched further social capital interventions, I found that one way to facilitate this was through community engagement programs that were based in resource matching and trading. So, research indicates that people who are involved with these types of community engagement programs experience increased well being, to include feelings of empowerment, connection with others, increased self confidence and awareness of citizens' roles and rights. And this same research that focuses on defining and leveraging social capital um, continues to develop as advocacy groups call for the decrease in size of large level social service systems such as child protective services. And so finally, this brings me into my project proposal. I'm proposing the creation of a time bank in Tacoma, and with the help of my field instructor, Monitra, I have named this time bank Love Thy Neighbor. So for those who are unfamiliar with the concept of time banking has a global presence and has been referred to as a form of community currency. So time banks vary dramatically in size, and they offer a way of connecting community members through resource matching and trading based on a credit system. So time bank members can earn 1 credit for every 1 hour of service that they provide. Earned credits can be used to purchase other services within the time bank from other community members. And the key here is that all services are equal. So, an hour of childcare support is equal to an hour of tax filing assistance, an hour of gardening equal to an hour of friendly visitation with a desiring elder. Services will be as diverse as time bank members' skill and time and resource access varies. So additionally, folks who would like to support the Love Thy Neighbor Time Bank monetarily rather than through their time can donate directly to the time bank or to local participating businesses. And these donations can increase service availability to folks or time bank members who don't have any credits or have very few credits. And these credits can also be gifted or shared between members. So, firstly, the time bank, the Love Thy Neighbor Time Bank, would target social capital by increasing relationships between Tacoma community members. And each Love Thy Neighbor participant will engage in a virtual or in person orientation that highlights the power of social capital and National Time Bank success. They will also use our mobile device app to participate in the resource and need matching and sharing. So, some benefits to time banking. Resource trading in time banks leads to friendship, social support, and skill development in communities. Time banks account for power dynamics and social stigma by offering an alternative to the traditional charity model of social service interventions, which really have traditionally drawn a line between the giver and the receiver of services. So they incentivize community development and also community volunteering, which really encourages transformational relational development that extends far beyond credit trades. So secondly, this intervention would increase collective action by bridging between community members in different sectors of Tacoma. When time banks include organizations that already exist, they bolster individual social capital as well as collective action, which is why they've been included in conversations about democratic renewal, especially in areas where time banking, or especially in areas where citizen engagement has declined. So, for evaluation purposes, this intervention will rely on a mixed method survey and will utilize a program that many US time banks rely on called Community Weaver. And it's this software that can be used by time bank coordinators to track activity, enroll members, troubleshoot, generate reports for investors, and also fundraise. So, all participants will be prompted to complete a survey after 3 months of program participation. And survey questions will evaluate the following program outcomes. The first being Tacoma low income community members have increased access to social capital. And the second being Tacoma community members have increased desire and ability to engage with one another through resource sharing. And the success will be determined by positive answers to these survey questions. Additionally, organizational participants and stakeholders will report increased experiences of collaboration and an added layer of support for their clients. Um, Overall, Love Thy Neighbor represents my hope for an intervention that complements existing efforts to meet the needs of low-income families while increasing community engagement at large. I propose this timing will indirectly decrease the isolation and deprivation that are experienced by those at risk of CPS investigation due to resource insecurity. And ultimately, I hope that through this time bank, that Tacoma community members have an opportunity to increase their social capital by moving beyond the echo chambers of our workplaces, families, social media platforms, educational spaces. Families really need diverse connections to thrive, and the goal of this time bank is to decrease the power of the forces that promote polarized views and experiences of isolation. My mission is to stir the pot and to challenge myself and members of the Tacoma community to move beyond our usual people and places and into the care and keeping of others. Thank you.